Hi, Norm's going to make a statement. I isn't what I isn't, and I isn't an intellectual. Now there are some there are some out there who will say, really? But I isn't, and I'm proud I isn't. I'll tell you why. Intellectuals, to me, okay, well, let me put it this way. 2 or 3 of them get together, or 4 or 5, whatever it is, a few of them will get together, and they'll start talking about an editorial, or an article, or a book that some other intellectual wrote, and they'll work themselves into a frenzy about how great it was. They'll throw themselves into a spin. They got to go out and buy it. And basically, it was an article, a book about nothing. And these people can spend minutes, hours talking about this nothing. And they'll get so excited about it. I mean, it's boring. It's nothing. Me, when I talk with my friends, we talk about things that are fun, that are very interesting. For example, we can talk about the Stooges. Did you see this latest an episode when the Stooges did this? Did you see when Curly did that? When Larry did this? When Moe did that? When the 3 of them were together and they said spread out, you know. Or when one of the guys will invariably start talking like Curly talks. Or we'll talk about Bugs Bunny, you know, when Bugs tries to outmaneuver a Wile E. Coyote or Yosemite Sam or Roadrunner, and Bugs always ends up on top. Or an episode of George of the Jungle. Remember George of the Jungle? George, George, George of the Jungle, friend to you and me. Look out for that tree. Bam! See, the bam was when George would swing from vine to vine, in case you haven't seen George in the Jungle, but you should. George would swing from tree to tree. He'd be protecting the denizens of the forest, you know. And George was portrayed as kind of dumb, but he wasn't. He always came out on top protecting these folks and animals. And George would swing from a tree to tree, and he'd end up crashing into a tree. Or George lived in a treehouse. And he had a little porch around his treehouse, but he had no railing around the porch. And invariably, George would take a step or two too much, and he'd fall off the side of it to ground. But again, George would outwit the poachers and all these people that are up against the animals and his friends in the forest. Now, if some of you think that Norm doesn't think about serious things or important things that will help society, you're wrong. I do. I think about things, not about nothing. For example, I was driving down the street the other day, and I was going over some railroad tracks, and I saw a sign that said, "Do not stop on tracks." Okay. Now, there are people out there, and I'm not talking about people that are legitimately challenged in terms of reading words or recent immigrants to this country. I'm not talking about those folks. I'm talking about the maniacs. When they were in phonics in first or second grade, they said, "How the hell with it." And they decided to catch some Z's when the teacher was trying to explain to them how to sound out words like M-A-N or S-T-O-P. But anyway, for those folks that can't read these letters, I want to tell you this. If you stop on the tracks, on the railroad tracks, you pretty much can kiss your ass goodbye. Now, for those folks that can't read these words, I'm thinking about, you know, we do have pictures for people, so they can, if they can't read the words, they can see the picture and they get an idea of what they should or shouldn't do. A picture for this sign would be, let's say, a car on the tracks with a picture of an ass with lips on it superimposed on it. I mean, this is important stuff. I mean, I'm laughing, but believe me, you know, you stop on the tracks and, you know, like I say, you can pretty much kiss your ass goodbye. Another thing, a very helpful hint I'm going to give you, maybe it's not as earth-shattering as the one about stopping on the tracks, is like, well, let me put it this way. Once I pulled out I was going to put on a pair of shorts, underwear. I was getting dressed, you know. And I pulled out a pair of shorts from the washer. I mean, Norm talks about underwear and jockeys a lot. I don't know why I do, but for some odd reason, when I start thinking, underwear and jockey shorts and drawers come to my mind. But anyway, so I pulled out a pair of drawers and I looked inside the seat, which I normally do, before I put them on. And I saw there were some stains in there. Now I had just put these in the wash. I had just taken them out of the wash. And what I'm thinking to myself is, when I put them in the wash, when I do a load of wash, I throw the bleach in the water for the whole load. So I'm saying to myself, well, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the bleach right on the stain, okay? So I take the bleach and I pour it on the tracks in my underwear, see, you know, the stains in my underwear, and then I put the bleach right on it, okay? And then I throw the shorts into the wash. And I do the wash, and then at the end of the cycle, it's all done, I pull the shorts out, and what do you know? No stains. Completely no stains. Of course, there wasn't any more left of the seat of my drawers. They were completely obliterated. That bleach is very, very strong stuff. Be careful. So now I got a pair of jockeys with just fronts on them. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess one option is to toss them. But on the other hand, Norm is frugal, you know. So I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, you know. I really don't want to. So all I can say is I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do yet. But if I'm ever at your house, if some of you folks are watching this and you know, if I'm ever at your house and you see me standing, not sitting, but standing, do not invite Norm to sit. Put 2 and 2 together. And maybe you'll get the drift. Anyway, I think about serious things, and if I can help people, that's what I try and do. Thank you. Bye.